very excited to be here today doing our first AI tech review. This is something new that we are going to be offering to all of our members with your newsletter.
Yes, Ferrari established an AI task force last year, and Matt and I have had the privilege to dive in and check out some of the new and latest and greatest technology available for the real estate space. We're kicking off this one with our very first tech review of an AI system called Productive.Ai.
And this one was one of my favorite new AI systems of the year. This actually is something that any salesperson can use, not just realtors. It's basically an app that syncs with your phone, your contacts, possibly your CRM, depending on which CRM you use. And it will actually send you an AI summary or a full call recording of a phone call that you make using the app.
Yes. So Productive.Ai, I actually first ran into them a few years ago. They were a winner of NAR's IOI Tech Battle that they host each year. And it's such an interesting technology because I think when we look at AI, it's kind of at the forefront of what we hope that AI will be able to do for us. Okay, we have a normal business interaction, a phone call. What can AI do to enhance that? So in this case, we have Productive that's recording the call. It's going to transcribe the call, and it is in fact going to pull pieces of information out of that call and send them to you. For instance, calendar invitations, tasks.
So the thing that I like most about this, I've been demoing this for about the last 3 weeks. And I like that it kind of fits neatly into the way that most salespeople already do business. And you don't need to actually use it for everything, but it's always there in the background, giving you information that you can then go back to if you want to. Ashley mentioned the calendar integration. This one was really cool. So ring, ring, ring. Hey, Ashley, it's Matt. How are you?
Fantastic. Great to talk to you, Matt.
Hey, so I've heard you wanted to see some houses. What days are you available?
I could do Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Okay, awesome. Let's plan to meet Tuesday at 10 a.m. at 345 Maple Street. If that works for you, I will send you a calendar invite.
Fabulous.
Now, in the background, what happens here is I'm going to, as soon as the call disconnects, within about 30 seconds, there will be a calendar invite sent to me, the Productive.Ai user, and it will have me accept that calendar invite and then send it to her if it was correct. I like the fact that it actually gives me the option to human double check it before it just sends it.
Yes. And a happy accident that I discovered is in my life, I have my work calendar through Outlook. We have Microsoft Exchange. But my personal life is in the Apple Calendar.
You have a personal life?
As it turns out.
Even outside of real estate?
Well, it's...
Not all of you may be that lucky.
Yes. But a happy accident was that I discovered when I did a calendar appointment or we had a conversation about meeting, it would send me both options. It would send me the Outlook invitation. It would also send me the Apple Calendar invitation. So I would accept it, whether it was my personal life that was involved in that phone call or my business life. In both instances, it automated the put this in your calendar component, which is so crucially beneficial for so many of us in this business.
So to be clear though, it's not just the calendar piece. The calendar piece was for me like the cherry on top. What I really enjoyed is that, I don't know where I'm going to be when I'm going to take a phone call. A client calls, I'm picking up. So if I'm out playing pickleball, if I'm out doing something else and someone calls me, I pick up the call. I don't have to do anything. It then sends me my AI transcription of the general notes of what we talked about. Now, you don't have to provide any consent or receive any consent just to take notes on something. However, if you record and get a full call recording and an exact transcript, it is recommended, but not required, that you do let the person know that the call is being recorded. This system has thought through all those things and it gives you options for both. You can even choose to only use the call recording in the app with certain contexts and phone calls. For instance, I could use Productive.Ai with calls that were synced from my Salesforce CRM system, or I could only use it with my phone contacts, or I could exclude people that were in my family, like my wife and my kids, from that, so I'm not recording everything that my wife is saying and then using it against her in the home court.
Happy accident. I have found that my CRM that I use has essential business contacts, but there's so many other contacts that I work with and communicate with in business. I wanted those call transcripts associated with that contact record, which, as it turns out, wasn't in my CRM. In the last month, I have become so much better at getting everyone in my life associated in my customer relationship manager. It's been a very, very happy spiff.
We kind of had the same thing. So I'm usually skeptical when I hear of an app that syncs with CRM systems because they usually don't sync with mine. We use a very specific mortgage Salesforce system. But as soon as I clicked the button and logged in, it actually started syncing all of my notes from my calls into contexts that were already in Salesforce. And that happened seamlessly. So I'm really excited to see if this works for a lot of the different top real estate CRMs out there. But again, this was started as a real estate specific AI company. So I think that I'm at least very hopeful that it's going to work for a huge majority of the biggest platforms out there.
Yes, within the AI task force, we tested this on the KV Core Bold Trail platform. It was also tested on KW Command and then U for Salesforce. And they have an exhaustive list of other CRMs that they sync with. So the ability to connect your business phone calls with tasks and calendar invites directly to the contact records within your system, it's an enhancement that it seems too good to be true.
I think the other thing is this is one of those for me where thankfully it's a very inexpensive system, but it's also the kind of thing where you don't necessarily have to use it. So I synced it up, it recorded a bunch of my calls, I got some notes. I didn't choose to go back to any of those notes until I needed to, until a customer asked me, what did we quote them for a project? And then when I went back into it, a couple of days later, and I totally forgot to take notes on the conversation, I had all that information in my email. I took all my Productive.AI emails and I put them into a folder that I can go to if I want to, or I can ignore it. And I think that's actually how a lot of people might use that, aside from the CRM sync.
Oh man, talk about the email situation. If you mention in your phone call, I will send you an email about this, or I will follow up with an email, it's going to draft a bit of an email. It's not exhaustive, but it's going to send you an email in your inbox telling you to send an email to that person per the phone call. I don't know how many of you I have done business with in the last month, but I'm sure that you've benefited from this nice feature.
And I think for me, the last thing that I'd say was a huge standout from this is that the customer service was awesome. So in the first week, I did have some tech challenges, some things like I needed to configure a little bit more for my specific mortgage business use case. And as soon as I sent an email, I probably got a response directly from either the owner or customer support within 15 minutes. And they were able to actually help me with my problems. You don't always get that in tech. And honestly, in AI, you usually get AI customer service, which drives me up the wall. And this had a real human customer service component for now.
Yes. Now, we've loved so many of these features, but it's not all been roses. There are certain components of this. If you move forward with this, there's niceties that you're used to with your phone that don't work with the Productive app. For instance, you have an incoming phone call. On my iPhone, incoming phone call. If I'm in a meeting, I can text them immediately and say, I'll give you a call back in 30 minutes. That doesn't exist with the Productive interaction or integration.
The other thing is call connectivity. So anytime you're using a third-party system and using a third-party system as a layer in between your phone calls, it is going to have some connectivity lag. For me, I noticed that when I was on Wi-Fi, my calls weren't as good, but when I was on 5G in a good area, my calls were just fine. I actually noticed the opposite.
Yes. So I live out in the middle of the country, and by my house, it is like a cell phone black hole. So when I was on Productive, driving through the countryside on a phone call, there were some call clarity issues. If I hung up on Productive and called back my regular line, the clients could hear me. So there is the reality with any type of tech that you're adopting. Think of where you fall on the tech adoption bell curve. Some agents are at the very forefront of that. They want the newest technology. They want it first. They're willing to live with some of the things that aren't perfect about it. There's a lot of agents that don't want to touch technology until it's perfect, until it's going to work flawlessly. So that was just my very real analysis of this. I did have a few calls drop. I had a few that I answered, but the person didn't speak back with me. And I'm not sure if that was a glitch of the app or if that was just the person on the other end uncomfortable knowing that the call would be recorded. I did have call recording turned on for everyone. So I'm not sure which way it landed, but I know if I were to recommend this to real estate agents and they answered the phone and the person couldn't hear them well on the other side, that would be uncomfortable for some and maybe not a great fit for you for this product right now.
I think it really depends on where you're using this, right? So for an agent that, is making the majority of their calls while they're at their office, while they're in a place with amazing cell service, this is probably a non-issue. But for people that are taking all of their phone calls in the car, in areas around the country with bad service, this can be something serious. The other, I wouldn't say this is a con, but this is just something to note. If you're someone who uses like a group line, like a team line, where the call comes in and it rings to a couple different desks or phones, this is not a great solution for that. We have a couple instances at where we do that, and we were not able to use it for team line situations.
But all in all, this has been a very fun test with AI, real estate specific, the integrations, the ease of setup, so many aspects of this that I give it 5 stars.
I would definitely give it like 4.75 stars. I think for the price of it, it's something that everyone should at least try out.
Yes, so the RAG rate of Productive is $25 a month. And I do believe that the Greater Alliance of Realtors will be working on perhaps a discounted rate of service. So more to come on this.
Stay tuned on that.
Yes.
Well, thanks, guys. This is the first tech review. If you see a product out there, whether it be tech, whether it be AI, if you think it relates to real estate or could benefit the lifestyle of real estate agent, please send it in and we would love to examine it and do one of these videos.
Yes, this is the best part of our job because we absolutely love to test it out and we want to get this information in your hands so you can actually use it. Thanks, guys.